I am very, very excited for what's in front of me. And today, we are getting a very, very substantial vlog camera upgrade. Hello everyone, and welcome to Thursday. So, in the box in front of me is the relatively new Sony FX3. This is a camera that I've been following since it came out, and to some extent, many months prior, because this has the same internals as another Sony camera that I was very interested in, the Sony a7S III. I'd pretty much decided that I was going to get the Sony a7S III until the FX3 came out, and then I was like, that makes a lot of sense for a big upgrade jump. But I had decided that I was going to get this later in the year. This wasn't something that I was planning on getting relatively soon. However, you may have noticed that it is in front of me right this second. They wanted me to keep this extremely low-key, and they wanted to remain anonymous, but this is largely due to one person who reached out to me very recently, and basically just wanted to help out. They wanted to help out, they're a fan of the vlog, and they wanted to help out the production side, and they wanted to know what they could do. So they helped contribute and make this possible, and make it possible basically much sooner than I was planning to do it. So thank you. They know who they are, and I will not be able to put into words how much I appreciate it. So what do we have in front of us? This is the Sony FX3. This is a full-frame camera, and that is a sizable jump over the APS-C camera that we've been using. I've been shooting for the past two and a half years with the Sony a6400, and I gotta tell you, I love the Sony a6400. It is an incredible camera. It's been a great vlog camera, and it was a sizable jump. That's the big thing. Every time we move cameras, I want to make sure that it's a sizable jump. And prior to the a6400, which I'm filming on now, we had been using the Panasonic Lumix point and shoot cameras, which are very, for what they are, they're very, very good, but we wanted to make a jump to try and get some additional features and some additional quality, and we got that out of the a6400. Now it's time to make that jump again by moving to the FX3. Now this is a very professional camera. In fact, in the realm of cameras that we have owned, this is the nicest camera that we have owned. I'm really looking forward to shooting on a full-frame camera. I'm really looking forward to the different features that are afforded us as a result. For instance, this camera can shoot 4K up to 120 frames a second with only a very, very slight crop, 10%. The low light performance on this camera is industry leading. I mean, you can basically shoot in the dark, and there's just a myriad of other features that are truly, truly exciting. So we're gonna open this up, we're gonna get everything set up, and I'm gonna show you, I guess, what comes inside this box. And this will be our Sony FX3 unboxing. So, let's pop this off. And as we open it up, right on top there is a USB cable. It's a Type-C to Type-A. Looks like it's at least a 3.0. It's got a blue connector. You've got a limited warranty, a thing to register for a Visa card, like a prepaid card. You got some other little things that I'm not truly that interested in. This is one of the big things that separates the FX3 from the a7S III, and I'll be talking a little bit about that today, and why I made the decision specifically to go with the FX3 over the a7S III. One of the issues, one of the big changes is this. This is a top handle, which you can use to hold the camera more easily, but more importantly, it has two XLR ports for professional audio. Now, we have shot things with XLR audio before, but in order to do that, we have to use Mal's Zoom H4n Pro, which is just another piece of equipment that has to be attached to the camera. It's also not terribly convenient because Mal needs it for her productions. When she's doing her painting videos, she needs that connected so she can have audio. So it is impossible to do two things at one time. They have to be shared, and now, well, they won't. Now, this is similar to another product that Sony sells, but it's actually cheaper to get this with the FX3 than buying that product separately with like the A7S III. I'm also kind of surprised at how lightweight this is. I'm glad, but it's a lot lighter than I was expecting, which is good because one of my goals has been to try and keep the weight of the camera down. The other cool thing is that this is actually a hot shoe mount, so you get XLR audio and it just goes right into the hot shoe of the camera, so there's no additional wires. It's really cool. I'm excited about that. Here is the camera body. And this is so wild. I mean, I've been using a Sony body now for over 2 years, and I really like Sony. I really like Sony. Like I used the Lumix cameras for quite a bit, and for my specific purposes, whenever I need, the most important thing to me is basically autofocus. The Panasonic cameras, it's not reliable enough. It's just not. When you compare stuff that I shot before with the Lumix cameras versus the Sony, it's a complete night and day difference. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to go with the Sony camera. But this is the body, and it is it's relatively compact. This is in the cinema line, and there's a lot of debate online whether this camera truly deserves that moniker. I'm not sure that it does, because it's missing some features that are fairly standard for cinema cameras. But hey, maybe we'll get shutter angle in a firmware update. This also has got a flip out screen. This one flips out to the side. The A6400 flipped out above, which I do like, especially for my specific purposes for vlogging, but being able to flip it out to the side is fine by me. This is also noticeably different from the A7S III because it has a bunch of mounting points all over the camera. I have a cage on mine, which adds a little bit of weight. This basically has a cage built in. As long as you aren't putting too many things on it, you shouldn't need a dedicated cage. And because I don't have a huge film rig, I should never have to buy a cage for this, which is pretty exciting. The other big thing is that this actually has a fan built in to the FX3, so you can shoot supposedly indefinitely, no matter what the temperature is. I've never run into overheating issues on my A6400. I've never been in a position that I had to do that. But I guess it's nice with peace of mind that if I ever was, it shouldn't be an issue with the FX3. This is also a little different because it has tally lights that light up so you know when you're recording, which very unfortunately has been an issue before. It's a little sad, but I have absolutely recorded something and then finished the recording and realized that when I finished the recording, that was me starting the recording, and I swore into the ether. So also inside this box are probably like some other things. There is a Sony battery charger, so you can charge a battery, which is good because it, comes with a battery. You've also got the cable for that, and then way down in this compartment is the battery, and this is the Z Series 100. I think it's a FZ100 is what these are called. This alone is actually super exciting to me because the A6400 is a great camera, but the batteries are tiny. They are very, very tiny. Whenever we went to Japan and China in 2019, I had 4 different batteries that I took, and very typically in a day I would eat through all of those batteries. Each of these batteries last well, a lot longer, so I should get a lot more life out of the camera, which is exciting. I think that's it for the box, so I'm gonna put that down on the ground. Now, whenever I bought the A6400, I bought it with the kit lens, with the 16 to 50 kit lens, which is by no stretch of the imagination the nicest lens that you can get for Sony cameras. But I did that because I was like, you know what? I truly feel that at some point I'm going to want to move up to a full-frame camera. And now I have. So you're probably wondering, well, what lens did you choose to put onto your full-frame camera? I decided to go with the 24mm G Master. 24 millimeters is the equivalent that I'm shooting with on the 16 range here on the APS-C, and it seems to be I mean, for my vlogging style and how I shoot things, and also my arm length, which is pretty long since I'm 6.5 feet tall, it really feels like the perfect focal length for me. I was interested in the 24-70, but again, I'm really making sure that I don't add too much weight because the APS-C camera is much lighter than the full frame camera. I actually added up all of the weights because I was super curious how much things were going to change, and I discovered that moving to this camera with the 24mm lens is going to add exactly 1 pound to my setup. And I was like, okay, I can handle 1 pound. If I would have went with the 24-70, that would have added an additional pound. This is a pretty heavy lens. So I decided for now I would stick with this, and also you really can't go wrong with the 24mm prime. I've got a lot of uses for it, and apparently well, I mean, from what I've seen also from people's photos and videos, it's beautiful glass. So even if we make the decision later on to move up to the 24-70, you know, we would probably still get some use out of the 24, so I don't think it's a bad purchase. So it comes in this little container, this little pouch, and then there's also a guide on how to put the lens on. I mean, it's a nice pouch. It's a nice pouch. There were so many times where I really wanted to pick up a lens for the A6400. I really did, because I knew that I was limiting myself with the kit lens, but I kept telling myself, I was like, no, just hold on. You know, at some point you're gonna want to get a full frame camera. So I'm really glad that I ended up waiting, but at times it was really difficult. So this is the 24mm 1.4 G Master, and I mean, it's pretty hefty, especially compared to when I'm used to the 1650 kit lens on the APS-C. But I mean, the build quality is very nice, and it's not terribly heavy. And I know that lenses get heavier than this, but I'm fortunate that it's not any bigger than this, it's not any heavier than this, and I'm really curious what the total weight is going to be once I get it on the camera. So let's do that now. Satisfying click. Look at that son of a gun. So the good news is it's really not that heavy. I mean, like I said, I knew it was going to add a pound, and it's added a pound, but it's not that bad. It's a little front heavy because obviously the lens is actually a little heavier than the body. But once the battery's in, that's going to help a little bit because that's a bit heavy. I guess the memory card, but you're splitting hairs at that point. But this will be the new vlogging setup, and I've got a pistol grip that I typically use, but I don't have in front of me right now. Neat. I'm super excited about this. This opens up a lot of possibilities. For one, I just really wanted to play with some additional features. I bought a color accurate 4K HDR monitor last year because I've been getting more and more interested and intrigued by color. And one of the big things that was holding me back on the APS-C Sony cameras is that they shoot 8-bit video. And I was like, I would love just the ability to shoot 10-bit, which you can do. In fact, if you have something like an Atomos Ninja, you can actually output, they say 16-bit RAW, although there's no product on the market right now that can support that. So 12-bit, ProRes RAW video, and that might be something that I explore at some point in the future as well. This is a really exciting product for me. Being able to feel like, for the first time ever with a camera purchase, that I have no limitations. With every camera purchase I've ever had, there's been some limitation. Even whenever I bought the A6400, I bought the camera with the knowledge of, yes, I was moving up, I was making a jump, but there were still limitations. This is the first time where I'm like, I don't really have those limitations anymore. I mean, I'm sure that camera tech will continue to improve and will continue to get incredible features that are inside a body small enough to warrant using for vlog purpose. But for right now, this is it. Like, if you want something that's very capable, that has good stabilization, which is a necessity, arguably the best autofocus available right now, and can shoot very high bit rates internally. I mean, in this size, like this is the camera. And I've never needed an EVF, which is one of the reasons I decided to go for this over the A7S3. So I'm ecstatic. I really am. The A7S3 was something that I was like, that's it. I'm super excited for this. Then this thing was released in February, and I was like, man, I'm really glad I didn't get the A7S3, because this fits just a little bit better. I'm still crossing my fingers for some firmware updates for this. It doesn't shoot true 24p, it shoots 2398. It doesn't have DCI 4K, and then the big thing for me, the only thing I'd probably really care about is shutter angle, jumping between different frame rates. But again, hopefully they will do that with a firmware update. Speaking of 24 frames a second, I could probably finally return to doing that. I shot a lot of the early vlog in some of the beginning years in 24 frames a second. Eventually moved into the Lumixes, which only shot 30. So I stayed at 30, and then whenever I moved to this camera, the rolling shutter was so bad that I could not shoot 24. I had to shoot 30. But maybe now I could go back to 24 frames a second, and that would be exciting. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I know I said a thank you to them, but again, to the person who knows who they are, I sincerely appreciate this, and I can't wait to show what is capable with this camera. Not only for vlog purposes, but other little things that we want to shoot. Actually, we're getting ready to move into TRG Coliseum. It's time for that again. We're going to be doing a bumper and shooting some other stuff for bumper-related material. And I'm going to be honest, this comes at a great time because this will actually help out a lot. This is a much easier camera to move around and work with than the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. As much as I love that camera, and that's a great camera, and it's a really great studio camera, if you're looking for a studio camera that you're going to put on sticks and never move, buy a Blackmagic. They're fantastic. But if you need IBIS, if you need autofocus, I've been really impressed with Sony and what they're doing. So super excited to start using this, and I'll start shooting with this tomorrow. And it's going to be great. I also got a few accessories, things that are just basically necessary to use this. And the only thing I'm going to ask is you give me a little time to learn it. Things might be a little weird for a few weeks. I might be experimenting with color. Maybe I'll shoot HLG. Maybe I'll shoot S-Log3. Maybe I'll shoot S-Cinetone. I don't know. I'm going to be exploring things. I'm going to be trying things out. And we'll eventually arrive at what the new look and the new feel of the vlog will be. But man, I'm really excited about this. I wish I could fully express how excited I am. Okay, that's it. I'm done for real. Thanks for watching. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?